Look, most faceless YouTube channels fail for one reason, and it's not going to be the editing, it's not going to be the script, it's actually picking a niche that's trash. And it's not just about the views. There are channels with millions of views barely scraping by because they're getting demonetized, they're getting hit by the algorithm, no sponsors, nobody wants to work with them, no affiliates. That's a bad niche even if they get views, right? So I'm going to show you 12 faceless niches that are actually profitable in 2026. I mean, we're not running a charity here, right? So first up is going to be alcohol addiction. Now you're thinking, Lucas, what the heck? A channel about drinking? Well, it's actually a good niche, and here's why. Millions of people are struggling with alcohol addiction. They want to quit or reduce drinking, or sometimes they don't want to, but they have to, turning to YouTube for help and community. And you can do these videos without showing your face. I mean, they're faceless, making guides, comparisons, talking about celebrities and drinking, talking about cautionary tales, research about alcohol, its effects and news. I mean, this niche is gigantic. Now, it's also pretty easy to monetize by selling guides, being an affiliate for other coaches who help people quit, and you're doing the community a service while building a consistent, faceless YouTube channel, because this niche is unfortunately never going away. So I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10 score, and let's move on. Now, next up is going to be credit cards. Yeah. Debt and drinking, what a great start to the video. Ready for the next episode with Dave Ramsey. But look, a huge number of people are stuck with credit card debt, paying interest and trying to keep up. But the funny or, interesting thing I should say, even though people are struggling with credit cards, they're also obsessed with them. People want better rewards, better perks, smarter ways to use their credit card. And they're actively searching for this stuff every single day, especially on YouTube, and that's what makes this niche so interesting. Now, let's talk money. This niche is built around affiliate offers, meaning that when somebody signs up for a card through your link, you earn a commission, and since banks are competing very hard for new customers, those commissions for a new sign-up can be surprisingly high. So instead of thinking, I'm only relying on views, blah, 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 you're actually building multiple income streams. And then there are the extra perks of being a creator in the cards and reward space, meaning you can get more points, miles, upgrades, cashback. Creators in this space often end up benefiting from the same system they're explaining, and it can actually feed back into your lifestyle with free tickets, just in general free stuff if you're into that. So I'll give this niche a 7.5 out of 10 score, and a lot of people think it's, boring, but I don't care. If it's a good niche, so be it. Okay, next up is going to be aviation. Now, this faceless niche is one of the hidden gems of the field. It doesn't look that big until you realize how deep that niche actually is. Aviation fans are completely obsessed. Not casually interested, but obsessed. They will watch breakdowns of flights, analyze incidents, what's happening in aviation, how conflicts affect routes, like in Iran right now, and keep up with the news, myself included. I actually watch these videos, that's why I talk about them. But I don't watch all the niches I talk about. Just full disclaimer, I'm not into alcohol addiction, which might be a good thing to explain. Anyway, I go on the flight route websites. I'm a total nerd about this, like that's news. And that's why I can understand this niche and I can recommend it from experience. Now, the funny thing is this content can be made pretty easily. Faceless creators will literally write a script, generate the videos, and even use visuals as simple as Google Maps or Flight Radar. And it works. It's almost perfect for faceless content because you don't need to be on camera at all. I mean, most niches in aviation are just screen recordings, stock footage, flight data visuals, and of course, a voiceover. Now, one thing you do need to do in this niche is to be accurate. And this audience will instantly call out mistakes. They definitely have some OCD, so you can't just guess your way through it. But if you're willing to do proper research, which you can leverage AI for, this niche has serious potential. 7 out of 10. All right, let's get into a more new controversial niche, which is called looks maxing. And in new, there is opportunity. Now, this niche has been picking up serious momentum, especially with younger guys online, and what used to be a small subculture of the internet has turned into a full-blown trend. So what's looks maxing? Well, it's basically people trying to improve or maximize their looks, their appearance, and people care a lot about how they look, whether they like to admit it or not, and that's why the content can go viral. But here's the thing people misunderstand. You don't actually need to be a looks maxer or even show your face on camera to make content in this niche. You definitely don't need to show your face. And a lot of the biggest, creators in this space are completely faceless. They use transformation clips, tips, guides, before-after content, celebrity stuff. But one thing to keep in mind is looks maxing is moving very quickly. So right now it's pretty hot, but once the initial hype is gonna cool off, it's likely gonna get more competitive and harder to go viral in this space. Doesn't mean it's gonna die. I think it's here to stay. It just matures. So timing matters when you get into a niche as well. And I would rate looks maxing about an 8 out of 10 in terms of an opportunity score, not looks. Now, after looks, let's talk about dieting. Not losing weight, but different ways of eating, such as the carnivore diet, veganism. I don't know, I'm far from a health expert or diet expert in general. But I am a YouTube expert, humble, right? And if you want to start a faceless channel yourself, it's faster and easier to learn from somebody who's actually done it. That's pretty obvious. So check the link in the description for my free YouTube sign up and newsletter. And if you want my personal help with this too, I'll leave a link in that description too. No more promotion, back to the video. Diet niches are huge. And there's always a new thing going on, meaning if you can find a diet that's hot right now, it might be less competitive than another niche, while still able to generate lots of views, and that is the key. Because the thing is, when you start a new YouTube channel, you want to start small and you want to be very niche and specific. Until your channel grows a bit, your skills grow, and you can start creating broader content and compete with other channels. But you don't want to compete with like Mr. Beast when you start. You want to start smaller. So don't just go and pick like dieting or veganism. Be a little bit more specific, go deeper. 6.5 out of 10. Now, next up is going to be personal finance. And this niche is extremely big because everybody's managing their personal finances, surprisingly, right? Now, the funny thing is you might expect the YouTubers in personal finance to be like economics professors or experts. You might expect them to be like PhD level people or professional traders, but no. The people who succeed in personal finance on YouTube are actually normal people like you and I. They share stories and they make personal finance relatable. Because here's the thing, right? A professor can explain the, theoretical concepts, but you and I can talk about how we manage our daily finances, things we do to save money, earn a little bit on the side. For example, here's Nicole, and she's a regular person with a regular job, I think. She might be doing this full time now. But she started talking about her finances and what she does to save money, and she talks about minimalism, personal finance, all that stuff. And she got 200k subscribers and gets lots of views in her video, and she doesn't have a PhD in finance, right? In the personal finance niche, which has extremely high CPM and basically ad revenue from YouTube, because all the high-paying sponsors want to show their ads on a video like Nicole's, because she talks about finance to an adult audience, and it's like the best audience ever. Now you're thinking, okay, Lucas, but she's actually showing her face. Yeah, but you can do the same thing faceless. I mean, her channel being successful is simply a good indicator. It verifies that the market exists and there is a demand for these types of videos. It doesn't mean that you have to show your face to do the same. You can create content with new tools and AI and tell stories even with your voice. But I will say though that for this niche, it's gonna build more credibility and trust if you at least use your own voice. AI voices are fine too, but make sure you're using the same one in every single video or hiring somebody so you can build that long-term trust and personality that people, like and just trust. And again, some of the biggest like gaming channels and personal brand channels ever have been completely faceless. For example, in the Minecraft YouTuber niche space, which is surprisingly big, there was a YouTuber called Dream who only showed his face after getting tens of millions of subscribers. And people still liked him, they cared about him, you can actually build a brand faceless too. So I'll give this personal finance niche a 9 out of 10. All right, let's pick up the pace a little bit. The next faceless niche that gets views is gaming. Now, I know what you think. Gaming, that's overcrowded, only the top streamers make any money, all that stuff. That's not entirely true. There's actually a corner of the gaming space that's still wide open, especially for faceless creators. Instead of trying to compete with streamers or gameplay channels, shift your focus over to storytelling. For example, there are channels dedicated to breaking down the lore, the theories, and hidden details of a single game franchise, like Pokemon or Grand Theft Auto. Some of these channels pull in massive views by just diving deep into stories about the game, character analysis, or what-if scenarios within a game universe. There are millions of people interested in certain games, and they watch content on YouTube about it. So instead of writing off gaming completely, approach it differently. Yes, starting a Let's Play channel where you just play a video game is kind of dead, but pick one game or series you actually enjoy and go deep, include storytelling, and stick with it. You don't need to show your face, you don't need crazy editing, it's usually just a script, a voiceover, some gameplay clips or visuals in the background. Yes, realistically, it's not going to be the best niche to monetize as it's more entertainment than solving a problem, which I like to do. That's how you can monetize a channel better. So 6.5 out of 10, but still a good niche. All right, the next faceless niche is going to be prepping, survival, preparing, stocking up on food, gear, all that stuff. It's a huge niche, which surprised me. I thought it was just going to be like a few people in the shadows, but there are channels with millions of subs in the prepping niche, which means it's a lot better than I thought, and it's a lot bigger than I thought as well. And even better, or I guess worse, is that in times like right now, which are kind of unstable, more and more people are getting into prepping. For example, take a look at this channel. It's called Canadian Prepper. 1 million subscribers and 500 million views on the channel, and you can see that recent videos are getting like 100k, 200k. That's a pretty good niche to get into. It's getting a lot of views. Now, how do you make this content faceless? Well, the funny part is, even though he has a face channel, his face is pretty much already irrelevant. Like, he's not showing it that much. He's showing graphics, visuals, explaining things, and you can do these videos without showing your face. I guarantee it. And if you want to use a face once in a while, there's also AI and a lot of tools you can use, but you want to be a little bit careful with how you use AI, especially in these times with the monetization waves and all that stuff. So you want to play your cards right here. But the best thing about this niche is there's always something going on, and it's easy to make new content, which gets a lot of views. Because you can talk about news. I mean, there's always something happening in prepping, right? You can also monetize this niche pretty well by selling prepping courses, being an affiliate for gear and prepping products. And so there's a lot of potential in this niche, especially because people aren't just viewers, they're actually preppers, they're buyers, they're invested in that niche. 8 out of 10. All right, next up, have a look at this channel. 1 million subscribers, and they post prison content without leaving their house or going to prison. I mean, that's a good thing. They're not actually going to prison or making real documentaries there. We can look at some examples of the videos. We have like celebrities and their sentences. We have famous prison or, cases and stories from prison, and most of the footage they're getting is actually available in the public domain for anybody to use, such as court hearings or police cameras. Now, of course, depending on your location, your country, every type of footage, so check this carefully yourself. I don't trust what I'm saying right here. But this content can be made completely faceless. Now, I'm still gonna give it like a 5.5 out of 10. It's terrible for monetization. Nobody wants to sponsor this niche because it's in entertainment, hard to promote, and just sponsors don't like this niche either. And the next faceless niche is going to be AI tools. Now, this is pretty boring. I'm very tired of hearing about this stuff, but it's actually extremely easy to monetize, and you don't need to be in camera. You don't need to be on camera, not be a camera, and you don't have to be an AI expert, and the videos can be very simple. It's just a short script, a voiceover, some visuals, and a screen recording of the AI tool or software that you are trying out or using or reviewing, and that is pretty much it. Now, the best part about software and AI channels is your channel never has to go viral. You don't need to get that many views. By reviewing, testing, and promoting these tools, you can add affiliate links and get a commission every time somebody signs up. Now, if that is an expensive AI software with a high commission, you're going to be making significantly more from affiliates than YouTube itself. A lot of people go for a niche they think it's profitable just because it gets a lot of views, but the smart creators have channels that are usually so small you don't even notice them, but they're making significantly more than bigger channels because they're hyper targeted on one problem that people are willing to spend money on. So 8.5 out of 10. AI tools are super hot right now. Now, next up is going to be exposing and preventing fraud online. Now, this niche is massively underrated and perfect for faceless content, with channels like Scammer Payback and Trilogy Media getting millions of views exposing scammers and showing how their schemes work, helping people stay safe in the process. Now, you don't need to go out and deal with scammers yourself. You can do faceless videos, breakdowns of how people were caught, how this works, videos, and tell stories. And this niche is strong because people love justice and learning how to stay safe. But again, not the best for monetization, I guess. 6.5 out of 10. And then we have the celebrity drama niche. Now, this niche thrives on storytelling, but doesn't actually require a face at all. Many channels like Sunny V2 built huge audiences breaking down internet figures and celebrities and, celebrity drama news. And on the channel, you will find rise and fall stories of celebrities, explaining it, and just other drama about famous people. And the format is very simple. It's the same thing for every video. It's a script, a voiceover, and some clips and images in the video. And he was literally generating millions of views. I'm not sure what happened since last year, but maybe he took a very long vacation. But again, I recommend a niche that solves problems, not just entertainment niches, because that's where the real profitable faceless channels are made. So check out this video to learn exactly what these niches are and how it works and how you can build the same channel and do well. See you later.